Joining me now from Ann Arbor, Michigan is Juan, the Richard P. Mitchell Collegiate Professor of History at the University of Michigan. Juan, thanks for joining us. So we've heard, as we were just hearing there from another guest earlier, some analysis on those brief comments from Donald Trump. He says he'll make a full statement tomorrow. What do you think we can expect?
Who knows what to expect from Donald Trump? I think, he is in a difficult position in the sense that he himself favors unilateral strikes. He did one off of Venezuela recently on a boat without any semblance of legality. And so it's difficult for him to criticize Israel for doing this. But it is true also that this strike by Israel was probably aimed in part at creating a wedge between the United States and Qatar. And that's something I don't think that either side, either Qatar or the United States, will allow to happen.
And how do you think this operation, which was, a strike on Qatar's sovereign soil, how do you think it could affect stability in the region and regional diplomacy?
Well, it's another sign that the Israeli state has become a rogue state in the region. It routinely bombs Syria, with which it is not at war. And in fact, the United States has taken sanctions off the Syrian government and more or less recognized it. But the Israelis routinely bomb it. They bomb, of course, they're being bombed by Yemen and return fire. But they seem to feel that they can strike anywhere in the region at will. And this is the second time that they have struck while negotiations were going on, because they struck Iran during negotiations. And now they have struck the civilian Hamas negotiators in Qatar while supposedly sending over proposals for a ceasefire.
Yes, and what do you think it means for the peace talks? I mean, Qatar has already expressed its deep concerns about the continuation of those. What might be the effects on conflict mediation in future if a mediator's territory becomes essentially part of the battlefield as it has today?
Well, the Netanyahu government doesn't want peace. It doesn't want peace talks. It has repeatedly put forward proposals and then reneged on its own proposals. Whenever Hamas has agreed to something, it's piled on more requirements. So this government is not negotiating in good faith. And part of the reason for the strike at the Hamas civilian negotiators in Qatar was to forestall any further demands that Netanyahu negotiate a ceasefire, which are coming not only from the international community and the United States, but also from inside the Israeli polity. So many Israelis feel that Netanyahu is killing the hostages that Hamas took, the Israeli hostages, by pursuing these genocidal policies in his campaign in Gaza against the civilian population. And they have mounted huge demonstrations in Tel Aviv against his government. So striking Hamas negotiators in Qatar is one way of making all of the Israelis rally behind him and to portray the protesters as traitors.
As you mentioned, we're not too sure what we're going to get tomorrow from Donald Trump. And as you mentioned, he does seem to be a fan of the unilateral strikes himself. And we've seen that Israel doesn't seem to have red lines. I mean, what is it going to take for this sort of thing to end? I mean, who does Qatar have to appeal to? Do they have leverage to go to any allies in Europe? Or are the Gulf states too militarily tied to the US?
Well, Qatar, in order to be protected from Israel, Qatar needs even better relations with the United States than it already has. It has pretty good relations with the U.S., but I would say that the main hope of being protected from the Israelis would be for Qatar to have a stronger relationship with the major leaders of the Republican Party, most of whom are Christian Zionists or American white nationalists who have invested symbolic importance in their support of Israel and who don't understand the Middle East or maybe don't much care about it for itself. And so Qatar has, since the 2017 blockade that was put on it by Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Egypt, and Bahrain, it has reached out to Trump somewhat successfully. But Trump, you know, is, as we say, erratic. You can't depend on him. He'll say one thing one day, one thing another. So I think that the senators, the Republican and Democratic senators, are the ones that Qatar would have to reach out to in this regard. It's worth mentioning that Qatar is expecting an anti-missile, anti-aircraft system, the THAAD, from the United States. And a memorandum was signed of mutual defense in May. And one reason that Netanyahu struck now is that possibly once that system is in place and functioning and the Qataris are trained on it, a year from now, this kind of strike might not be possible.
Juan, Professor of History at the University of Michigan, thanks so much for your time.